Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque with fuel economy being about 15 to 16 miles per gallon depending on how you drive. And for those of you wondering, you still have the hydro guide system. Now, before we go with the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, obviously we've got the Hydro Guide front and center, and then the 392 badges. And if you're wondering, this is Earl Grey. We've got the LED lights there for the daytime running light / turn signal. And then you guys can see here with the headlights, really cool look. And then we've got the new grille here, which as a Wrangler owner, I'm a big fan. I think this is actually an improvement big time in terms of the front end design. And then you guys can see the bumper, and yes, you can now get a winch from the factory. It's about a $2,000 option. And well, it looks cool and obviously it's practical. And sorry about the lighting with this shot, but putting it all together, the new Rubicon 392, especially in this Earl Grey, looks fantastic. Now around the side here, we've got 35s wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And this is now standard for the Rubicon 392. You cannot get 33s. And then with the new wheels, you got like silver there on the top, kind of interesting. And then you guys can see the Jeep there in the center. And then this is obviously lifted like an Extreme Recon, obviously not called an Extreme Recon anymore. Sorry, bump the camera, because again, it's standard. Now you guys can see here how it's body painted, and then look at the little fender flare extensions. That's pretty cool. And then you got the Jeep logo and then trail rated badge, again bronze with the accenting. And then we have rock rail protection here on the side. And speaking of side, here's your full side view. It has that cool lifted Jeep appearance that, well, we all know and love. And then for those of you wondering, we have these Jeep / Rubicon branded shocks, so we do not have Fox shocks. Oh, and I guess while we're down here, you guys can see the exhaust tip muffler setup, and yeah, it's still crooked. So here's the key fob. Nothing's changed here, so still the same cool key fob that we all know and love. And then popping into the back, actually pretty easy to open this up. Still have the cool little chart there with like the 392 logo and all of that. Then you got the glass. Storage space is unchanged here in the back. Not really noticing any other changes. Obviously still have the painted roll cage, and then we've got the Alpine sound system with this one. And yeah, that's really light. So that's nice. We've got LED lights here in the back, parking sensors here on the bumper, and yes, this thing could take an impact. Got the recovery hook in bronze, full-sized spare tire as well. And finishing things up, let me know what you guys think about the subtle design changes. But outside of the wheels, I think it looks good. I'm still not sold on the silver on the wheels. Now, before we move on to the next feature, we need to talk about today's video sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Now, believe it or not, the modern world is actually a pretty treacherous place. Every single time you go out for a drive, there's a chance that you could get into an accident. You could be walking in front of a business, they could have something on the ground, and you could slip and fall and hurt yourself. And on top of that, you could just be doing your job, right? Like you always do, and something could happen and you could sustain a major injury. This is a topic that's very important to me personally because I drive about 40,000 miles per year for the channel. And so there are a lot of situations that I'm put in on a day-to-day basis where accidents almost happen. Now, knock on wood, nothing's happened for years, but there's always the chance that something could happen. And this is where Morgan & Morgan comes into play. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices, over 800 lawyers, and over 4,000 case staff that are all ready to help you out. And one of the best parts about working with Morgan & Morgan is that things like the negotiations, the court hearings, and the research associated with putting together a case are all free unless you win. And so if you're involved in some kind of personal accident, whether it be a car accident, a slip and fall accident, or an accident at the workplace, then you might want to get help from Morgan & Morgan. And on a little bit of a side note, don't feel bad about hiring an attorney. Remember that you're suing the insurance company that is worth billions upon billions of dollars. they can more than pay for the compensation that you deserve. So if you are injured in an accident, then you can check out Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy, or you can give them a call at pound 529. That is pound law. Again, www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy or pound law. Now taking a look at the door panel here in the rear, first off, it's soft touch here at the top, and then you guys can see the red stitching there, and then you've got some netting down below. And then inside we've got these red leather seats with red stitching, and these do feel kind of like softer compared to the leather seats I have in my 22 Rubicon. Legroom back here is good. Got a little storage net. Vents here in the rear, unlike the Bronco. We've got window controls, full power outlet. And yeah, these seats, they've got some nice cushion to them. And then headroom, it's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel again, soft touch here at the top, then you can see the padding down below with the red stitching. Get your mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Now here is the payload sticker for this, 850 pounds. And then here's the front seat, Rubicon 392 in red, and then you guys can see with the rest of the seat. And then notice it is power adjustable. The passenger seat is also power adjustable as well. And then we've got our light controls here with our fog light control, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. And then look at this, you've got a little Wrangler and a Gladiator. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice trim all around, perforated on either side. You got red stitching, paddle shifters down the back, radio controls. We've got regular cruise control as well as adaptive cruise control, controls for the center stack, and then the regular stocks there on the back. And then here is the gauge cluster, still the same gauge cluster we've had, but notice it has a little compass there at the top. Well, it did the first time. Anyways, you can see it shows you basically vehicle information like the off-road status, for example. You got on 3-degree incline. So yeah, pretty cool system. Now, although we have a bigger screen, the actual camera view is not any bigger. But notice we've got the front camera and the back camera. Resolution on it is solid. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, I will reserve my opinions for later in the video when we go over the conclusion. But you guys can see response time is okay. It does take a second for some of the pages to load up, but I do think the vehicle icon being a Jeep is pretty cool. Down below, we've got analog controls here for the radio, also the climate system, so dual zone climate, heated seats. We also have a heated steering wheel. We've got the exhaust button to open or close the valves. And then you got stuff like your off-road cruise control. Window controls there in the center. And then you guys can see the little charging port area and then the 12 volt off to the side. Auxiliary switches, still just have 4 of them. And then we've got our shifter here that's in front of everything for the 8-speed automatic. And then also what's in front of everything is our driveline select. So we still have 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high, part-time neutral, and then 4-wheel low. And then we've got our off-road plus, if the camera will focus, sway bar disconnect, and then we have our front and rear locking differentials. Got some cup holder action here, traditional parking brake, and then you can see more red stitching here in the center console. And yeah, nothing's changed there. New grab handle, so that's a little bit different. And then I actually really like this trim on the dash. It is kind of like, you can see on the camera, it looks almost like it's a little bit warped in some places, but overall, I think the overall look is pretty cool. And then we do have a normal Jeep glove box. And then up top, this one has, as you can see with this button, the one touch. So it'll do like the whole top there, which we're actually not going to open up here for lighting purposes. But yeah, it's definitely a cool feature. So here is our window sticker thing. Apparently I was wrong on the horsepower, 475. So I guess that's gone up by 5 horsepower. 1316 for the MPG. But like I said, you can actually average close to 16 with this, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, you can see base MSRP, $87,595. We've got the winch, which like I said, almost $2,000 bucks. The Skytop, wow, almost $4,000 for that. Total MSRP on this one, $95,945. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood. Both of the mirrors, do blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. Let's set off. Okay, so starting off, we have the exhaust valves closed for a second, but we're actually going to open them now so that we can hear it as we accelerate. But I can tell you that something that I've noticed about this that's a big difference is the sound insulation. But before we talk about that, I guess... Gotta love the V8. So, closing the valves, here's why. Like, it's so much more insulated, and I can tell you there is a perceivable difference. Now, you do still, I hate flies, you do still get wind noise, You do still get a little bit of tire noise, but it's definitely like improved. Like the daily drivability with this is better. I don't feel like I have to, like when I'm in here and listening to music or like take a call, I don't feel like I have to have the volume up as high. I don't feel like I have to yell when I'm trying to talk to someone on the phone. So Jeep has improved it. And on top of that, I feel like the ride quality is actually slightly better. Like this is still a body on frame SUV with solid axles, but it just seems like it rides a little bit better overall. So I think that that's another improvement. And then another improvement is actually the steering. It feels more direct in the 392 now. It feels like there, let me see if I can get this fly out. Leave! Nope. That just blew the fly to the back. Physics. Anyway, the steering does feel better. So I think that's improved. We're gonna open up the valves now so we can hear this exhaust. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not as good as mine because I have that AWE exhaust, which, by the way, if you have a 392, seriously upgrade. I can tell you that this does not sound nearly as good as mine. But also with the extra insulation, you do get, the exhaust is muffled a little bit. But the biggest thing with the steering is it feels more direct. There's still a little bit of on-center vagueness, but it's more direct than before. So good job on that. So overall, I feel like from a driving perspective, Jeep has improved the Wrangler without conceding too much. The only thing we've really conceded with this is you can't hear the exhaust as much. But outside of that, you don't hear like as many creaks and rattles. And like mine, I can hear it all the time, kind of like the little rattles and everything. But because of the extra insulation, it dampens all that. So just, it's improved there. Now this is where we get into the hot take parts of the review, because there are some things that I have some big beef with, and I think they're really important. First off, and you guys have probably seen the YouTube shorts, this is not okay. Like the fact that this has this much flex in it, and like my Wrangler, the dash is like just super tight, and you can tell like this is an addition, right? And then this part is, like I said, it looks like it's a little bit warped. I do like it though a lot. The infotainment system, same thing, there's a lot of flex in it. I imagine, like right now it doesn't creak or rattle or anything, but in the future there's definitely potential that could happen. And then same thing with the trim up top. I don't know if you guys can see this in the GoPro, but it's so freaking loose. Again, my Wrangler doesn't have these build quality issues. The grab handle, another point, loose. So like, I'm just gonna, like, I do kind of have evidence for this, but like, I am kind of talking out of my you know what by saying this, but I feel like Stellantis is kind of running the Wrangler. This is just my personal opinion, and here's why. This is like Stellantis' new corporate infotainment system. This looks like Stellantis edition. Like, you look at the outside, and that looks like something that the Jeep people put together. The winch, and the bumpers, and all that kind of stuff, like that is Jeep people. This doesn't look like something that Jeep people do, like the Jeep team does. It feels like Stellantis is basically like, hey, by the way, we want our new corporate infotainment system in the Wrangler that you're refreshing, so like make it work, and then this is what we get. And you lose the circular vents here in the center too, which like was such an iconic part of the new JL Wrangler. So overall, I think for the most part, the 392 is an improvement over the previous version, but I think that like they would have been better off by just keeping the infotainment system we had and getting like this crap, like this is crap, and like this being wiggly, all that kind of stuff like that. I don't need that. So I guess that what I'm trying to say is Jeep can be in Stellantis, but please keep Stellantis out of Jeep. And I know that's a very harsh thing to say, but like you look at all the stuff on this that has been on this since before Stellantis took ownership of, you know, Jeep, and it's all really well built and it's really cool. And then you look at this, like again, this, I doubt the Jeep people would like this. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, and I guess if you work for Jeep, let me know if this is a Jeep thing or if this is a Stellantis thing, but I feel like this is Stellantis saying, hey, this is what you have to put in the vehicle to make our new infotainment system work, and yeah.